It's crazy looking at where we were, even in 2016, which was, like, the first horrible year, and now looking at 2018 when, like, now Americans protest nationally, turn out in the tens of thousands, at least, like, once a month.
I dig down deep, 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 deep.
I'm Jesse Pettibone, and you're watching Dig Deep, the show where we take a complicated current event and make it easier to understand. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about why tens of thousands of protesters hit the streets across the nation yesterday. This time, it was because the president, DJT, the ratings machine, a name that I call him because he called himself that, and I think it really highlights the motivation behind a lot of his decisions. DJT fired Attorney General Jeff Sessions the day after the election, and he didn't just replace Jeff Sessions with the person who was next in line, Rod Rosenstein. He skipped over Rod Rosenstein for a man named Whitaker. Whitaker is outspoken and saying that he hates the Russian investigation. He's like, oh, well, you could just like cut funding. You wouldn't have to shut the investigation down, you could just cut funding so that they are basically inoperable. He said that. And now he is in that position to be able to do that. Why did he fire Jeff Sessions? First of all, he said he was going to do this before the election. He hinted at that this was coming. And so we could pretend that we're surprised, but he did say he was going to fire Jeff Sessions. He said he wasn't going to do it till after the election because if you fire Jeff Sessions, people know you do it because of the Russia investigation. He never forgave Jeff Sessions for recusing himself from the investigation because he was supposed to be an ally and protect the president from justice and truth. Instead, he was like, I can't. It's a conflict of interest. Rightfully so. So if you fire Jeff Sessions, then it gives the Democrats a lot of energy, and they could be like, you have to vote Democrat because he's coming for the Russian investigation, we have to protect it, and it energizes a lot of people who are going to turn out to vote. The people who are on the fence are like, oh crap, you know, maybe I'm going to vote blue. He knew this, which is why he said he was going to do it after the election. Surprise, surprise, he did. On that vein, it does make sense that he would then skip Rosenstein, who is currently in charge of the Russian investigation, because Jeff Sessions recused himself. He was the next in line, but Rosenstein is a supporter of the investigation because he believes in truth and justice, regardless of who it indicts in the process. So he's like, no, screw that guy, let's go on to Whitaker. Since the investigation began, DJT, the ratings machine, has called it a witch hunt probably more than 100 times. He keeps calling it a witch hunt. The problem is that it's not a witch hunt, and we have currently, as of this moment, indicted 32 people and 3 different companies. I've never seen a witch hunt turn out so much hard evidence. You know, usually it's like a corrupt investigation, which is why he's calling it a witch hunt. We have fully indicted 32 people. Out of those 32 people, all 4 of DJT's former aides have been indicted. Yikes. Who's next in line to be indicted? The rumors have begun that it is Donald Trump Jr. The son of the president is rumored and terrified. I love just imagining his rich self, you know, recently divorced, lying in bed alone at night, thinking about how he's going to jail. It feels so good. But over time, we have seen the Russian investigation get closer and closer to the president himself. All 4 of his former aides, now his son, people are on the chopping block that are very close to him, that he's confided a lot of trust and capital into, and that has to be pretty terrifying for the president, who is innocent until proven guilty, but every single person around him is guilty. When I first read the news that Donald Trump Jr. was the next on the chopping block, I was like, okay, the president's definitely going to pretend to care, but what are his true motivations? Does he really just care because it's one person closer to him? DJT cares about his legacy. I don't really know if he actually cares about Donald Trump Jr. as a person. I don't know if he's capable of doing that. I don't know if he's capable of caring about people as people. I think he cares a lot about people as they remain useful to him. So having someone that shares his name, that he trusted and brought into the close circle to do criminal things, and then is now indicted, I think that makes him look bad. It's a threat to his legacy. And I think that is why now we are seeing reports that DJT is depressed. Aw, man, that was my dude. We have the same name. It sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, but that's fully. It's not like we don't know people like DJT, the ratings machine. It's not like we don't know their mentality. They're very selfish. We haven't heard about the investigation in a while. Not that the election's dying down, I'm sure something was going to come up. But unless a big name gets indicted, we don't really hear about it. It didn't break the news every time one of those 32 people or 3 companies pled guilty. Most of the hype recently was from DJT himself. Like, I forget it exists until DJT is like tweeting that it's a witch hunt, and then I'm like, oh, I wonder who's about to get indicted now. He's innocent until proven guilty. But it makes me think that he's worried that everybody else who isn't already in jail around him is guilty. And maybe he is too. I can't wait to find out what happens next. Will Donald Trump Jr. go to jail? He's very rich, so maybe just house arrest. I'm excited. I'm excited to find out what happens next. A lot of the indicted have been Russian people, so, you know, screw them. But what's gonna happen to Donald Trump Jr.? Who's next after that? I just love when people who do awful bad things and are very rich have to pay for it. I'll see you all next week for another episode of Dig Deep, where we'll finally be recapping the most important things that happened during the 2018 election. I've been waiting because some results are still coming in. It has been 3 days, and we're doing a recount right now. Some races have still yet to be decided. Votes are still being counted. Mostly I want to look at what matters. The good and the bad. I'm going to give you a full recap, and I'm so excited, so I'll see you all next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.